Alright, sorry about that, fellas. Yeah, slight technical difficulty. My computer decided to crash, so had to reboot the whole thing. So, where were we? Yes, I'm just about to. Actually, I might hang around if that viewer comes back. I might just prep this up just in case. This is probably in the middle of doing something. So, shake this up a bit more. Okay. Videos. Video. Alright. Yeah, if he comes back, he comes back. So yeah. So I'm just going to carry on because if you're watching this later on YouTube on my channel, yeah, this is I talk about this. So I'll take this mask off. So I'll start again anyway, guys, because we were interrupted by a technical difficulty. And yeah, so after yesterday's live build, thought about what I was about this piece at work, and yeah, I wasn't happy with it. So I found it's too dark, and I just was not happy with the way that the Model Master buffable paints or buffable metallizers turned out. So yeah, it's just nowhere near as nice. So yeah, and you're going to understand why. So it's pretty much a good comparison between the two. So if you want to see how it turns out, go back and watch. Well, this is it here, okay? But go back on the last video. It's probably about 3/4 towards the end, I think. It might even be the half. I couldn't even, I'm not too sure. It's about halfway in the video, but it is about it's about a 4-hour video. Okay, so we've already got a comment, and I cannot understand. It's coming as another language. Ah, there you go. G'day, how you going? Yeah, so where was I? Yeah, so you're going to see the difference the difference between the Model Master buffable metallizers and the Mr. Hobby stuff. I don't think I'm going to use much of this anymore. It's probably just going to be sitting on the back burner, or don't know. I will find a use for it, but at this stage, it's going to be sitting on my shelf for a while until I find a better use for it. So, and yesterday I did use the burnt iron on the engine block, but then today I haven't used it yet. So this would be a good experiment. I'm seeing a lot of your guys' builds on the exhaust pipes and that, and actually quite brighter than this. So I'm going to give it a crack on the stainless and just see how it goes. It does look dark in the bottom of the pot here, but obviously by the time you buff it all out, it's going to be a lot brighter. So I've already got the airbrush cleaned out before the computer decided to shut down. So I had a few minutes to sort of do some things while I was rebooting. So I'm just going to give it a good shake and get everything out of the way that I don't want metallizer on, because it's all right. So get all this out of the way. Put the engine block over here. Oh, excuse me. All right, so we'll chuck my mask back on. So you see that it's pretty runny. So you're not gonna. Well, I'm not gonna need to thin it out at all. You can if you want, if you choose, depending on your airbrush setup, but I'm spraying at full pressure, the gas. And I'm just going to suck I'll probably give it 2 squirts. It's what I don't use. I can just tip it back in the pot. So I've already cleaned it out with a bit of lacquer thinner. Just get out the excess. And just give it a squirt. And a shot glass. Just clean out the pipette. Righto. So here we go. Okay. Yesterday I had a bit of sprue on there holding it together. So what do I do with it? Just get some alligator clips here. And I find the best place to clamp it. Probably there. So I'm just going to clamp on there so I've got something to hold on to so I don't get silver fingers. And making sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Just move everything. Alright. So basically, straight away you see how bright that is. Okay, so that may be too bright, but I'm planning to put a black wash on this. So it's going to tone it down dramatically. Wow, this is pretty bright. And this will only take about 10 minutes to dry. And we had about a 30 degrees Celsius day out here today, so very dry, very hot. And she's still pretty warm now. It's almost 5:30 here in the afternoon. And yeah, and I'm still sweating. And I've got the windows open, got a beer beside me, and still sweating like a pig. So don't be afraid to put a fair whack on. You don't want to drown it, but you do want to give it a fairly thick coat because you are going to rub it back. And if you don't put enough on and you rub it back, you're going to rub it off. So just make sure you be fairly generous with this stuff. And I'll probably only use maybe not even half what I put in there. So just making sure that everywhere is covered because we're going to buff the entire piece, top and bottom. And I am going to do a test run on this, and depending on how this turns out and if I'm happy with it, I'm going to do my rims with it as well. Right, so we're just going to let that dry, put it down. Whoop. And while I'm here, no, that's just too bright. I was going to do, yeah, why not? I'm just trying to think whether I do my radiator or not. Try to look at the engine blocks, see the colour of that. No, that's just going to be way too bright. So I am going to change colours. I'm going to tip this out back in here. Getting a bit of paper towel. Okay. Make sure I put the cap back on because if this stuff goes everywhere and you try to wipe it, you have a really highly polished cutting mat. And the lacquer inside it is going to destroy your mat, so you do want to be very careful with this stuff. And I'm just going to flush it out with a bit of, just give it a few squirts. And just a little wipe out, making sure I spray into the right beer bottle. So I'm going to use this burnt iron. That was a stainless we just sprayed. So I'm going to get this Mr. Hobby was it burnt iron, or dark iron I should say. Give it a good shake up. So making sure that we wipe it, get any sort of stainless off the end there, because you don't want that going in the paint. And just making sure you squeeze it. You're not squeezing it into the paint itself, you're squeezing it before it goes in. So as soon as it goes in, it sucks up. And I'm only going to give it one dropper's worth, not even. So just put the cap on there. And clip it down. Right, so here we go. Here we go again, round 2. So yeah. Single lip. Okay, so that's pretty dark, but that's what I want. That's the, you can see it there. It's not about the detail, it's about the color. Alright. So I've got the exhaust drying on the foam board, and I was using the stainless Mr. Buffable paints. Whew, I'm going to take my mask off and breathe a bit. Yeah, so we just sprayed that with dark iron. And I'm just going to, while we're waiting for that to dry, I am just going to quickly spray out the airbrush. I'm just using the old lacquer thinners that I bought from the hardware store. So make sure that's the right one, and it is. So just bear with me for a couple of minutes while I spray this thing out. Swish it around. Alright, so, oops, careful that doesn't soak in. I'll just chuck it straight in the bin. So yeah, I just want to say also, yeah, wherever you guys are watching from around the world, hope it's been a good day, or you're having a good day, or if it's night time over there, you're having a good night. So give it a good spray. You really want to get this stuff out. Okay, so good enough spray out. And that'll do. Right. Okay, so get rid of this bit of tissue because it's going to leave a big dirty mark on the bench. Get a freshie. Double check. Okay, so this is where it all happens. Now, I know that as soon as I buff this up, it's going to look like chrome, okay? So I'm just going to carefully take it off the stick here. And we're going to get a nice clean paper towel. Bring the camera a bit so you can see it. Hopefully you can see it. So what we're going to do is, just buff it out and see, just rub it. Oh my god, how bright is this? It's like chrome. So I think I've found something new to use. Wow. Okay, so so using this is nearly as shiny as the chrome that you get when you buy a sprue. So you can get chrome parts in a box. So you can see that. Okay, I really hope the camera picks this up. So if I just hold it there, I'm gonna just bear with me. I'm just gonna adjust the camera. Right, so that's probably the best I can get it. That's what I've just sprayed. Okay, that's not even buffed. And if I turn it around, when the light hits it properly, you can see where I've buffed it up. Okay, there's a big difference there. Even if I move it around, you don't get that blinding sort of brightness there compared to that. So I'm just going to keep going. And it's as simple as this. If you've never used the Mr. Hobby Buffables, and you can get it in your area, or you can get it via, you know, if you can order it from one of your online stores, I highly recommend it. So we're just going to buff. And all you're doing is rubbing it. That's it. Okay, and you've seen I've only sprayed this probably a few minutes ago. And I might just let it sit for a little bit more. Alright, so I'm just going to let this sit for a little bit more. So you can see how shiny that is. Like, it's just, you know, that this webcam doesn't really pick it up. So it's not until I do an update video is you're really going to see it. It does look like I'm just holding a piece of metal in my hand. But by the time I put the washers and stuff down, it's going to tone down a bit. I'm just going to grab a brush quickly. What I do with my shitty brushes. Just bear with me, so grab a. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I have just rubbed a little bit off, a little bit too much off. I'm just going to brush it on there. Alright, so I'm going to brush it on, leave that to dry. Pop the cap back on, as always. Actually, I better pop the cap out the other one as well. I'm just going to let that there to dry. Touch the other one, see how that goes. So now you can see, okay, you can see how dark that is. Even if it's my finger, you can rub it off with your finger. You can see how, okay, hang on. You see the difference there. That's just from rub with my finger. And that's the idea of this buffable paint. It looks really dark, so you kind of get two tones out of it. So, yeah, ooh, that's better. Just rub it. Alright, so there you go. See how quickly I rub that, and that's the effect that you get from the Mr. Buffable paints. So I'm still trying to muck around, getting highlights and things put down. You basically just, all you want to do is just spray it down, give it a few minutes for it to dry, and then buff it off. And you're basically polishing the paint. And it's like, when I say polishing, you're not like full elbow grease, you're just lightly rubbing it. I mean, you probably wipe your nose harder when you blow it. And so just trying to give you an idea on how much pressure I'm putting down on this piece here. So making sure you get everywhere. And what we're going to do is, once all this has been rubbed down and I'm happy with it, we're just going to seal it up with some metalizer sealer. Yeah, I'm definitely impressed. I don't think I'll be using that Model Master stuff much anymore. I just did a test run yesterday because I've got the same color. I've also got a burnt iron in the Model Master, and I thought I sprayed the engine block. I think, yeah, I sprayed the engine block with this yesterday. Was it yesterday? But yesterday about lunchtime, I think it was. And and I was really happy with it. But then, well, I made a mistake. I didn't put the sealer down. I used I forgot that I actually had it. I used just normal clear coat, and everything just dulled down. So, and then I tried using the Model Master stuff, and like, yeah, I had to rub my ass off, and it didn't even come back. Like the effect was nowhere near as good as this. So, all right, so just give you a quick look before I put this thing away. So that's pretty much the top. Spinning around, you can see where like all the recesses inside where the radiator grills are. It's still got the base color, but you see like just the reflective properties on it. Okay, so even the sides, and the sides are all being done. So it just gives it a really realistic metallic finish. So I'm just going to put that down for the time being. And I'm just going to go back and just check this one. And I'm just going to keep rubbing and just lightly rub over where I touched up before. Alright, so this was treated with, so for anyone who's just joined, this has just been sprayed with the stainless, Mr. Hobby stainless buffable paint. And I really wasn't expecting it to be this bright, but it's a good thing, because the brighter the better. Because when you put your washes down, it sort of dulls everything down, darkens everything up. That way I can choose when I'm putting the washes down. I can choose what parts I want to be really bright and what parts I want kind of not so bright. And then I can also put down the brown washes as well. So I think that'll be sufficient rubbing. Yep, so I mean, I can't even get a finish like this using Vallejo Model Airs. I've got the liquid metals from Vallejo as well, and this is probably by far all clads. I can't even get a finish look with all clads like this. So you can see just how shiny that is. And all right, so I'm just going to do, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to hit it with the sealer. There you go, just using the Model Master sealer. It's just a lacquer, like a sealer. All right, so I'm going to get my dropper. Actually, before I continue, I'm just going to chuck these on alligator clip sticks. And where did the other one go? Here it is. Oops. And I'm just going to clip the other one on that. And then just give it a quick spray, because I want, if there's any metallizer in the air, that's going to come out first. So I'm just going to seal this off. So the dials it down a little bit. Like it's nowhere near as shiny as it was, but the when I used the normal clear coat yesterday, everything just disappeared. So big difference. I wasn't thinking. I just thought, yeah, she'll be right. That's down. And done. Crack in there. Just going to make sure that's well covered. Right, so that's all done. So whack that to the side so I can dry a little bit. And that shouldn't take long. What's the instructions say here? Cool. Dries in 15 minutes. Warning, this product contains a chemical known to the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects and other reproductive harm. Awesome. That's good to know, isn't it, guys? Use this stuff and you can't have kids. All right. So what next? What I might do is I'm going to clear coat the dash panel. I'm also going to apply some more dark grey on the seats, just add a bit more detail. I'm also trying to think what I want to do with the engine block. I might even do, that's what I might do later on, probably later on tonight as we get towards the end, once everything's dry. Because I don't want you guys just to be watching me spray metalizer for the next 2 hours. So I'm going to break this video up. I've also got the pulleys. Okay, so I've got all like the pulleys and the what do you call it? The belts, engine belts, to paint up as well. So I might actually spray that with a metalizer, seal that up, and that way I can just either run around with a Sharpie pen or just some black acrylic paint, and I'll paint the belts that way. I might actually do that. I might just use the rubber black from Tamiya. I think that'll work really well. So give it a spray it. Okay. Back here a bit. Kind of in focus. It's better than what it normally is. All right, so make sure these are all clean, because plastic and lacquer kind of don't mix too well. Scrub them out. And be going with you over there. Okay, so what are we doing now? We are So, okay. So I have highlighted this, as I said in the start of the video. Now I'm going to put a wash down, but I don't want the wash to drown out this dark grey. I don't want this to be black again, put it that way. So I'm going to give it a coat of satin. I don't want it to be a gloss because I still want it to shade just ever so slightly. I want the highlights to sort of darken up just a little bit. So what do I do with it? I've got a bottle of satin floating around somewhere that I've mixed up myself. It's just a 50-50 mix of the Vallejo polyurethane and the Vallejo matte varnish, or the gloss and the matte 50-50. That's it there. So instead of going out and buying a bottle of satin varnish, you can just make it yourself. Okay, so get out Mr. Tissue again. And we're going to need a way to hold it. Let's hold on the pedal here, that'll do. And that way, come on in. Right. Let's paint over this bit. So just clamp down there like that. And change it out. Change the airbrushes again. And just going to grab some thinner. Spread it out. Alright. So I'm just going to give this a good shake. It's all very time consuming, but it's all worth it in the end, I reckon. So also, while we're here, we should be able to put down our decals as well. So we'll do that before we wash it. So there you go. The certain coat's down, so just let that dry. Yeah, so what I'm doing basically now is just laying down the satin coat. So, look. And put that Windex. Blah, 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 blah. That's it with the window cleaner. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I am going to just quickly go over this and just retouch it up before I add, and let this dry, because being acrylic paint, it's going to dry. I reckon the way this temperature is going, it's going to be dry in the next 10 minutes or so. Alright, so I'm going to get the paint palette ready. And it was black grey. from Kaleo Model Color, black grey. For some reason it looks green on the camera on screen, but it is grey. And, there, and just a bit of Pledge clear gloss. Line you up. Just give these a bit of a stir together. And so we've already put a couple of coats of it last night. So this third coat, and we're probably thinking, you know, 3 coats, that's a bit much. But as you can see, that the layers of paint that I am putting on, it is really thin. So it doesn't really cover that well. But I've got to put 3 thin light coats on, then 1 big thick coat, and these will your detail. So that's that. Okay, that one done. I've just got the final one to do over here. Okay, and just over the top here. Even though it's on the back, you're not going to see it. Still be neat. Just so your own peace of mind, you know it's still nicely painted behind the seats. Okay. Yeah, so that'll do it for the dark grey. We're just going to let that dry for a little bit. Calm it down. Oh. What I do with it? Where did I put you? I was going to do something. Where was it? Here. Let's see. So we've got the door trims here. Okay, so a bit of black. Actually, I might change that. I might use Abaddon Black from Citadel. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do like where the dark grey, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a trim just there. Okay, right along the top edge, that's going to be black, and also that little around the door handle there is going to be black, and the handle itself will probably be either silver or chrome. Yes, I don't know yet, because I just didn't like the way the instructions were telling me to paint it. Sort of pictured like what the thing would look like when I was finishing, like, nah. I guess they're only recommended colors. So how thick is that? Not too bad. Could do a little bit of thin down. Trying to drop a pledge. And this will also, was Abaddon Black, it's a fairly matte colour. Pledge will sort of give it like a semi-gloss look as well, being a gloss varnish. Just making sure that there's not too much paint on the brush. Yeah, this is tricky. And just trying to be very careful, because the line's not, the actual line I have to paint is not that thick, so okay, so we didn't let that dry. If we need a second application, I can just put one on. But I might put a tiny bit of Abaddon Black in there still, just a little bit too thin. Oh, nearly. Don't know if you've seen that or not. It nearly slid this piece straight over the palette. It's going to be black anyway, so I'm just going to fill it in. And that black can act as a base colour or base coat for the door handle. So like that. And then just before I put it away, the paint's almost dry on this trim here, so just going to give it another touch. So whoever's watching out there, just got a question for you. So what do you normally build? Are you an aircraft guy? You're a car bloke? Build tanks? Are you just bored? You paint miniatures? And then I just also, like, what are you hoping to get out of this? Like, did you want to see anything in particular? You have any questions that you want to ask? Feel free to ask any questions that you might have if you're curious about anything. That's what I'm here for. That's why I do these videos. Yeah, don't be shy. I probably wouldn't even be surprised if it was you said watching, because you're always on bloody freaking YouTube. You'd be at work too, I think. Okay, so that black's done. I should double check while I got the black out. I don't need to paint anything else, and I don't, which is good. Alright, so she's sealed up. Now I'm just going to let that dry now for a little bit. Okay. She should be right to take off now. But nothing comes off my finger. Awesome. Okay. What we're going to do is, for the exhaust, I'm going to use Citadel's Abaddon Black. Oh, sorry, Agrax Earthshade. And I'm also going to use, some Bad Ad Black as well. So I'll just start off with the black. I'm just going to drop it down a bit of masking tape palette here. Give the Agrax Earthshade a shake up. Alright. And this, I'm going to need this back on the stick. Making sure it's not going to move around. And what I'm going to do, just on the back here, I'm just going to put it in this Agrax Earthshade. Okay, check this camera up a little bit. I'll keep going for that, so I might put that in. And I'm not full saturation washing, I'm just picking out the cat converter here. And then using this wash over the chrome, it gives it like that dirty look. It's not a muddy look. So I can heat it up. And if you're not sure what it looks like, Either, yeah, just go underneath your car, have a look at, take some photos, or even next time you take your car down to get serviced while the other cars are up with the hoist, just ask the guys down there if you can take some photos of underneath the cars and upload them on your computer as reference photos. Like, yeah, things like that help. You might look strange taking photos of cars like in the workshop, but yeah, realistically, you're going to benefit from it. Yeah, don't be afraid to take plenty of reference photos, even if you're on site somewhere, if you're a construction worker or something. I mean, I've always taken photos of excavators and things just for the tracks, how mud sits in the tracks. That's when I build tanks, and then I've always got something to go back on. Because you do want that realistic look. You can't beat reference photos. There. I'm going to give it a fairly good going over. So she needs to be done down here as well. Don't know why I'm doing this bit, but you're probably never going to see it. But just going to darken it up just in case you can see it from a certain angle when she's on the car. So you can see that it's kind of like a really nice brown wash. And so you know which way how far the camera's set back to focus on. So you can see, I hope you can see that. You can see the brown on there. And now also what we're going to do now, shut that up. And start putting the black on there. So this is just Bado Black from Games Workshop. So we're just going to go around the exhaust or the muffler here. Right. Basically, wherever you see clamps or joins, yeah, just put a bit of the wash there. You don't want to do the whole thing. You can if you want to add a really dirty effect. So if you're building like a big rig, you can just cover the whole thing with brown, because most trucks, the exhaust underneath from the main stacks down underneath the cab, they're fairly well rusted normally just from heat weathering. And, dash it in there. So I've just drilled up a couple of holes out the end of the exhaust pipes just to give that bit of depth in there. Right, so to do it back. And if you get any excess on here as well, you just dip your brush back in some water and just take off all the excess water, so it's just damp, and you just sort of clean off any excess wash with a damp brush. But if you just want to leave it on, you can, depending on how clean you want it. So if you put it on the top here. Making sure I've got everywhere. Just a bit on the side. Just want to give it some shadow. And I'm going to need a bit more. And I'm not thinning this wash down either, it's just straight out of the bottle and straight onto your palette. And so if you're wondering why I'm putting ink on my exhaust and that, it's probably because it's from building Warhammer stuff, tanks. I know a lot of guys just, yeah, they just spray it and they whack it on their kit, but yeah, it's, you know, I like putting washes and things on the models. Doesn't matter what it is. Right, so now, before I put this down, I'm not going to let this wash dry because I'm putting the metal here. I might just cover this whole thing with black wash because mufflers normally cop a fair bit of a beating, so that. And then what I'll do is take all the excess off my brush. I'll just sort of brush down a bit. I don't know if you'll see it, but all I'm doing is keep that bottom bit clean. All that's going to be dirty from all the gunk coming off the vehicle on the highway, on the roads, or wherever it's been driving. And if you want to as well, while the black is still wet, just put a bit of brown on your palette as well. And you can just mix a bit of brown with your black, and what you end up with is a real dirty brown, greasy looking color. That's actually working quite well, actually. So don't be don't think that, you know, you can only use the black and you can't mix anything with it. If you want different shades, okay. Yeah, a bit of black. Yep. So I'm just going to give it a quick once over, have a look at it before I show you, just to making sure I'm happy with it. Bracket there. Sort of clean up a little bit. Alright, so that's pretty much it, guys. There you go. So that's all the exhaust washed. So from being just a plain old piece of pipe, you know, you've given this thing sort of a bit of realism now. It's, instead of just being silver, you actually see where the clamps, you know, where grease is built up, oil, dust, heat. So the actual pipes themselves, I'll probably just give them a quick weather underneath the vehicle once it goes on. So just for the time being, I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I mean, you can even, if you want to, probably add a bit of black pigment, some soot pigment on the end here, because every now and then, and I've noticed on my vehicles, you will get some black, just very ever so slightly, even on chrome exhaust, you get like a slight black sort of soot, even like tar from the road. You'll get like a bit of pickup that sits on the end there. So if you want to, and it all depends on what you're going for. If you're going for a show vehicle, yeah, you're not going to have any much dirt on the vehicle at all. But if you're going for, something that's kind of used, or you want something that's a bit weathered, yeah, just get a bit of pigment or a bit of you can either use just some pigment like pastels and just crush it up. If you're not sure how to do that, I do have a video on my channel how to make your own pigments, and and it's a lot cheaper than going out and buying like a pot of pigments from some of the major manufacturers out there. So that's that. So I'm going to do the black while I'm here as well, while I've still got the washout. So we're just going to like run her in there. And we'll put some more. Number one. And we can always dry brush it too, just because this will dull down the effect from the bufferboard paints dramatically. So we probably will end up just dry brushing with a bit of aluminium or something, silver of some sort. Wow, it's funny, I'm looking on the camera on the monitor and this wash looks brown, but it's black. So I don't know what you're seeing, whether it looks brown or black. Might be just the lighting. So, I'm not going to get too carried away with the detail, just a bit of reassurance that I know that there's shading and stuff in there. So just another drop.